Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Just a Flower, where I, comfy here, hope you're comfy too, am just talking about, random stuff. Mostly the mystical side of things, my spiritual journey, my spiritual experiences, and the importance of meditation. Welcome once again. Here is our poem and topic for today. If you'd like, you can close your eyes and take in these words in a meditative way so that way you can kind of align or mentally prep or whatever it is, kind of like focus on what we're talking about today. Wish. Dreaming isn't purpose filled. So why should wishes reconcile? Why would any desire be required? Peace some ask for, money even more. A kind of thing, a specific scene, a word from friends, a meal for a king. But if the day is rainy when the wish comes true, will you still be blue? If the meal is cooked by an enemy, would you feel that wish stained or not truly true? Would that scene be needed if you already believe in possibility? How specific should we be when we don't believe in dreams? So take away the wrapping of that pleasant little candy and look at the ingredients, the aftermath of planning. What is it you wish to feel from this dish? Is it happiness? Is it joy? Are you already there? Then what more could you employ from this endless experience that is so ready to destroy? Just be careful not what you wish for, but how you dare to wish it. If it's something you deserve, or rather something like a curse, then be ready to meet all the feelings from your self-inflicted verse. Be careful what you wish for, especially if you think it's unreal. The moment wishing works, life becomes dreamy. Can you feel me? Wishing, manifestation, right? Desires, all of that stuff that people get like crazy obsessed about when it comes to the whole experience. Really, that's kind of like the gist, the reason that people get into all of this stuff in the first place, because they're told by someone, oh, you can get everything you ever wanted, you know? Uh, that's been the reason that a lot of people get into it since 2006, right? 2005. And it's a really nice refrain from all of the BS that you hear from dogmatic, tribalistic religion, really. Uh, I mean, it's not everyone, but like not every pastor really gets the vibe going of like God loves you and all of that jazz. And for a lot of us, we're already in a very secular mindset. We're in a zone of like, well, science is already ahead. It's already explained so many of the things that occur in this world and why it happens the way that it does. And it has evidence that suggests the world is so much bigger than anything that religion has ever taught us. Because when people become very literal about religion, it gets really weird. It gets funky. And that's why I have never ever subscribed to the idea that the Bible should be taken extra literally, ever. I mean, the idea that the evidence suggests that it was a bunch of dudes, eating mushrooms in some caves out in, uh, the places where Judaism actually originated from. And let's not even get into the whole translation thing, but before that, all of those stories were told as folklore. Nothing was written down for thousands of years, which is, I mean, like, that's kind of natural, right? Wouldn't that be natural? Are you going to tell your kid to write down a story that you tell them? Not really, but you're going to tell them all the most important stories. That's how it is for me. I don't ever tell my kids to write something down. Take notes. This is important. No, because the most important stuff is easy to remember. The most important stuff is easy to retain. And you retain the stuff that's most important to you. It's a little funny how we decide what's the most important, right? You know, a lot of kids forget a bunch of the stuff that they're supposed to remember for like daily activities and such. But when it comes to like life lessons, when it comes to learning something that's deep and that matters to the core of your being, those things can be remembered real easy, you know? But why does this matter? Why are we talking about this when we were just talking about wishes? Because wish fulfillment is the thing that everybody wants, you know? And when you tell someone, "Oh, I've got a secret way of making your wishes come true," people tend to listen in even if they think the guy's full of shit, right? Like what if this guy's just pulling my leg? What if he's a scam artist? That's what all the fortune telling tarot card reading types are labeled as, is, oh, this is bullshit and this is just a scam, and I shouldn't be gullible and keep myself closed off because there might not be anything important in all of this. And it's funny because a lot of the time uh that is like, you can tell when that's happening, you know. I literally just got engaged by someone who gave me all this positive information and feedback and said, "Oh, you seem to have such a good energy and I feel like I'm here to guide you a little bit." And I was open to it. I was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead. What's the guidance?" And then he was like, yeah, just send me $10 so that way you can get the candle and the super healing crystal, and then you'll get all the guidance from me that you need." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't need that. Thanks." And he was like, "I don't think you understand. This is so important. I'm here to do this." And I was like, "Cool, do it. Great. I don't need the candle or the crystal though. Thanks." And I don't have any money, so I don't know what to tell you. And immediately cut it off. You know, it's like, all right, well, thanks for the positive affirmation. At least I was ready to receive that. You know, there's no need. There's no need to get it from a specific place. I think that's the main thing that this episode is going to be about. You have this idea that you want to fulfill a wish, but a lot of the time people will go, "Oh, I want that specific encounter, thing, situation. I need this specific place. I need this specific person. I want it to be done a specific way." Reminds me of that one Bible story that is, oh my, I don't even, it's not even a Bible story. It's a freaking parable that got tossed around for probably 100 plus years or so, about um the guy who's drowning, and he keeps on praying to God like, "Oh, please save me, God, please save me, God." And I don't even know what people were expecting when they heard this story. When I first heard the story, I was like, three dudes literally just passed you by before the end of it came up, right? But basically, there are these three people who pass this drowning man by, and he's saying, "Oh no, God's gonna save me, I don't need you," right? And then he dies, goes to heaven, and God's like, "What? Well, hi, how are you?" And the guy's like, "Why didn't you save me?" And he was like, "You didn't see three of those dudes that I sent to you? I mean, they weren't even supposed to be there. You know, like, that's usually how it works. There's no, and to take it away from the whole religious aspect of people are really sensitive with the God word, there isn't any specific way that you are meant to be happy. There are so many ways to be happy. There are so many ways to be pleasantly wish fulfilled. A lot of people get stuck in the details, and they end up causing their own suffering because they need it to be a certain way. They have expectation, which is what stopped me from getting where I wanted to be in life so many times. So many times, you know. My expectations, my issue with expectation is I was so eager to get to the finish line. I wasn't ready to actually take the journey. I wasn't ready to take the steps to get to those successful moments. And really, I had this problem of thinking about success as something that you get to and not something that you get on. Success, as described by some of the smarter and wiser people on the internet, you know, Hank Green talked about this. You can look up Hank Green's explanation for what success is for him. But he said that it wasn't like I got successful and then stopped. It's more like I'm being those things. I'm doing the methods that make me continuously successful all the time. That's super wise, right? And he doesn't meditate. He doesn't do all the crystal healing stuff or the guru thing, you know. But that's it. That's his way of doing it. That's how he gets to success, and that's how he feels successful every day. we all have our own little version of success. We all have our own little dream of what it means to be successful, right? But a lot of that dream, a lot of the wishes that we ask for in ourselves or from God or from the universe or from our peers or anything like that, or from the career that we're on or the amount of money that we're looking to get, right? All of that stuff is details. And if you get stuck on the details, you will miss the opportunities that end up making you truly successful. For instance, if I was stuck on the details that, I don't make a ton of money right now, and I'm stuck at home all the time, being an at-home dad, and my books haven't been selling a ton, then all I'm gonna do is end up being honestly, all I'm going to do is end up making myself into a little bitch. It's because all I'm going to be doing is complaining, right? And I've done that. I've been there where you're just complaining. You're just creating more things to complain about. You're stuck on tiny little details that stop you from actually getting where you want to go, which thankfully has not been happening a lot. I know it's been a few weeks. And the reason it's been a few weeks is mostly I've been playing a video game and I've been watching a lot of Star Wars and I've been kind of ruminating in ideas for a new book that I'm writing. That originally I was like feeling, oh no, I should be doing more, I should be writing more, I should be working harder. And every time that I kind of like stilled myself and said, how how urgent is it that I do what I think I need to do to get my dreams accomplished? How urgent is it that I work as hard as I think, as I'm expecting is needed in order to become successful? I realized that I was kind of full of it. I mean, like, really, I'm not crazy popular yet. We're really close to 100 subscribers on YouTube. Yay, yay. Super excited about that. Very happy about that. Awesome. 100 subscribers is like kind of cool, right? It's a milestone for me. And Facebook, I'm getting a lot more, attention, and there's reactions, and I don't even know how all that stuff works, but I'm being engaged with a lot more. That's great. And it was kind of riding on all of the things that I had already done, you know, doing doing live reads. I'm getting back into comedy. Just went to a comedy show last night, and I'm going to go to another one tonight. Um, and I've just been, it's okay to have a time where you take a break from doing what you think is hard work and start doing something like researching more or taking it a little easier with the progress that you're making. You don't need to get it done immediately, right? That's been my issue the whole time. You don't need to win right away. That's kind of crazy. The idea that you should just immediately be successful. That's a little weird, you know? It's a journey, man. Enjoy it. you know back to that's just my expectations. Back to the actual like desires versus expectations. It's so easy to get caught in the minutia of what you think success looks like, but you actually have no idea until you have been successful, until you've actually done the successful thing. And this is just a little reminder, you know when you're meditating, you're going to have a lot of that pop up. When you're just sitting and breathing and you're giving your mind a break, your mind's not going to want to take a break because it's been so eager to get somewhere that it will think, oh, taking a break is wrong. Taking a break is the wrong way to do things right now because you're not where you want to be, right? So just take a break for a second and ask yourself, what's wrong with where you are right now? Really? Can you be grateful for anything that you have around you right now? Even if it's just your breath, even if it's just your breathing and being content, okayness, if you will, just feeling good. How about if you have a relationship with a higher power, How's that relationship going? How do you feel about that relationship? If you are happy being secular, if you are completely independent and you're just focusing on you, how's your relationship with yourself? Are you beating yourself up for not being somewhere that you haven't even worked on getting to? Are you beating yourself up because the work that you've done so far has felt like it's just been a corkscrew and you've just been going around in circles? Think about this stuff, breathe it in, really let yourself feel it for a minute, and be okay with those feelings. Honor those feelings is what one of my friends had just recently told me. Honor the feelings, honor the negativity, honor the stuff that you feel. Otherwise, it's going to haunt you. Otherwise, you're gonna be, trying to manifest, or you're gonna be trying to focus on a dream that you have, or you're gonna be like organizing and planning the next week of an idea that you think you should be working on, and it is going to just sap the energy right out of that planning, that organizing, and uh, that focus in your meditation, and you're going to end up getting stuck on details. You're going to end up getting stuck on expectation. You're going to get stuck on that thing because you haven't addressed it properly yet. And it's really easy to address those kind of things properly. All you have to do when you're meditating and a feeling comes up of lack of neediness, of eagerness, of wanting to increase your productivity, your efficiency, of wanting to get to something that you don't have yet, of wanting to fulfill certain details that you don't think are possible. Whoa, chill, just breathe, just breathe and do the meditation that works for you. You don't got to do the one I did. Honestly, I looked back at the one that I did and I was like, that was a little fast paced. That was a little too fast. And it was a little like not great. So that's like bare minimum kind of stuff that I showed you guys, in in your own course of learning how to sit still in the breath. Remember that you have your own personal journey, that this is the vaguest that it can be, so that it can cover the spectrum of people that are out there who are dealing with these kind of things, who are wanting to get more centered and who are wanting to become more fulfilled in just being alive. You can't get fulfilled with some dream that you have if you can't even start feeling fulfilled just sitting down and breathing and knowing that you're fine the way you are. Okay? It's a really big deal. It's important, you know? And you should put on whatever helps the most, especially when you're first starting. When you're first starting, you don't need to be intense about anything. Unless you're an intense person and you like being intense, that's fine. Totally fine. When I first started, it was just breathing in and out through the nose and feeling okay. I'm just feeling good, loving myself, knowing I'm okay. I'm a perfectly me, you know? Yeah, you got problems. Yeah, you got flaws. You're not perfect compared to, like, I don't know, whatever the freaking heck people call perfect. I don't know anyone who is. People are like, oh, it's Jesus. It's people who have lived thousands of years ago who don't exist anymore, who haven't contributed to anything on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that kind of stuff is impossible to aim for because, first of all, nobody speaks those languages anymore, right? Ancient Tibetan, maybe a few people. Ancient Aramaic, Old Aramaic, nobody speaks that language. Like, cool, whatever. But you don't need to. They they were themselves. Messiahs, spiritual leaders, profoundly incredible people, people who seem to master life. They're just themselves. They're just being them. You don't need to be any type of way to be a master of your life. And the more you breathe and the more you sit down and just accept yourself, the more that you take in what is needed and also honor what is there already and start to understand that part of you that has been there the whole time. All of the little things that motivate you, all of the stuff that makes you who you are, that builds you up, every little Lego piece, whether it's, a dark color or a bright color, whether it's red or blue, right? All of those little things start to, man, I got to remember to put stuff on silent. All of those little things, they They matter to you, but literally, they have materialized in you. And it's like, my thoughts aren't real. My dreams aren't real. Okay, whatever, but you're experiencing them, right? And there's a lot of evidence that suggests what is happening in the mind can't be differentiated between real and unreal. You've just labeled a whole section of your actual lively experience as not mattering, but it's there. You have experienced it, you know? Women tend to get it a lot easier, right? They have a dream that their boyfriend cheated on them. They wake up and is like, I dreamed that you cheated on me. That's super real in the dream. Did it really? Is it happening right there and then? No, no. And they get it. They get it. They don't like go crazy or anything. Well, some of them don't go crazy, but there's something in that person that feels there's a lack of trust there, right? That can be analyzed. You can breathe on that. You can think on that. Being self-analytical is the key to organizing what's inside. And organizing yourself is the only difference between someone who knows and who doesn't know. That's it. It's that simple. You know, I feel like I've covered so much already in 20 minutes. But what else is there to say? You know, there's no need for you to be any kind of way. But then how do I get my dreams? How do I get my wishes? How do I get my desires? Is it magic? Is it manifestation? Do I just need to work hard? Man, do what you want. Do whatever you want. That's it. It's that simple. But I can't. Man. And this is where real creativity comes in. You can't get what you desire is a belief that a lot of people have. And it's one that's perpetuated by those who would rather not have control over themselves. Let me say that again. The belief that you are unable to get what you wish for is an idea that is perpetuated most by people who do not wish to control their experience, by people who do not wish to control themselves. Your experience of your life is wholly in your control. And if you start actually addressing what I mean seriously, literally, what I'm saying is not your disease is your fault. I'm not saying, the bad fortune that you've experienced and the heartache and the hardships of your life are your fault. No, I'm saying that everything that happens around you, the way that you receive it, the way that you think about it, and the way that you react to it, the you part of your life is made and run by you. All of the stuff that comes in, that's from outside, the way you look at it and the way you see it and the way you react to it, that is yours. That is your response. And your ability to respond is your responsibility. Your responsibility is yours. It's just yours. What about all the things that I didn't make in my life? And how do I react to things that I don't even understand? That's new stuff, man. It's hard. It's new stuff. I'm busy. See, it's easy. Somebody knocks on my door interrupting something. It's easy. Just hold on. Give me a minute. So that is the most important thing, is that we start understanding what is it that this how does this all work? If you have a dream, then where did even the dream come from? Why do I even dream that way? That's a good question, isn't it? Why do you dream for the certain things that you dream for? That's what I really think is the most important thing. Why do you want what you want? When I was growing up, I had this dream of becoming a father. And the reason I wanted to become a father is because I didn't have one. That's it. My dad divorced, and and they, oh my God, it's so funny. anytime that I'm sure that if he ever hears this stuff, he's going to be like, my God, this kid never got over it. You know what? I didn't. I never will, because it changed my life completely. And if you don't understand that, then you don't really think you're a very powerful person, huh? That kind of stuff, it changes the way that a life is lived, and it changes the way that a life proceeds. And when I grew up, I wanted to know, I wanted to understand, and I wanted to experience what it was to have a family, what it was to be the king of a whole people. Really. I mean, like the household, the domain, being in charge of it. And what I found out was it's not really the breadwinner that makes all the decisions. You want to be the king of a castle, you got to clean it, you've got to manage it, you've got to cook for everybody in there, you've got to make sure you know where the food's coming from, you've got to make sure you manage the food, you've got to set down the rules. So really what I found out was to be a great father, you've got to be a good mom. Fathers aren't really in charge of anything. All they care about is making the money so that way the mom can do everything they need to do. That's what I found out. Being a parent, being a family person means being involved. It means being involved with your children and being involved with their activity. And I pepper comments on every situation that they're going through because that's what it means to be there. If I just drove them around everywhere and I didn't comment on anything that they were doing and I never talked to them, then I would just be a chauffeur. But I don't do that. I comment, I talk, I discuss, I ask why they want to do something, I ask what they want to do next, I motivate them, I push buttons asking them, what do you want to do? And I know one of them has a very sturdy dream in mind, but that's something that can change too. Allowing them to be whoever they want to be and allowing them to change is also a huge deal. It's also really important to do that. And it allows them to feel secure in not being super stable people. Because how many of us were like crazy stable around 10? We were fine, but are we stable? We have no idea what's going to come next. We have no idea what's for dinner. We keep asking that every day, right? We're not in charge of anything. And then you start making mistakes when you go through puberty because you're changing so much, you're not sure what the hell is happening. So, you hope that your parents are there, dependable, and able to comment enough that you feel fine going through all those changes, that you feel normal being weird. And that's what I do. And it's the best feeling ever. It's a dream come true. I mean, like literally, that's all I ever wanted to be for a while. And honestly, like being a writer, being a filmmaker, being an actor, a gamer, a streamer, a podcaster now, right? All of those other dreams were really easy to do compared to parenting, because parenting I had the most expectations for. I had the most detailed paintings of what I wanted a parenting experience to be like. And so that was actually the hardest thing for me to learn how to do, how to parent, because I thought I already knew what I wanted. And it's not until you actually take the journey that you know what you want depending on where you are. So you get to know your children, you get to know how they are, you get to know how they behave, and then you get to ask better questions every single day about, what do I want? What do I wish for? Originally, all I wanted was to heal someone who needed healing and to be there for my family and make them feel loved and safe. And I had no idea how to do that, is what I found out. I had terrible toxic traits, very, very controlling, micromanaging kind of disciplines. And I believed in corporal punishment when I first started. And it didn't take very long, not in the grand scheme of things, but it feels like a long time passes. Like it's a very heavy feeling when you're basically just being negative about everything all the time, which is what I was for a minute there. And thankfully, I had good people around me. My family are really great people. So my negativities were kind of like staunched. And I also paid attention to what I was doing and the effects of what I was doing. So it wasn't just that I was doing something wrong because my expectations were based on falsehoods, right? But I was doing something that would spur negativity, and it would, as I paid attention, I would see that the results of that were not great, right? So I changed the way that I started doing things. I changed the way that I did what I was doing. And it doesn't take only one day. It can happen in one day. Anything is possible. You can figure that out super quick. But it took a lot of different little changes to actually get where I felt like I was doing great. Anyway, that's the family right now. So, um, when when we're when we're caught up in the details, when we're expecting something from a certain desire, a wish, a dream, we lose sight of what we're dreaming for and what the feeling we want to be is. When I originally wanted to have kids, I wanted to feel complete. I wanted to feel whole, because not having someone there who I always expected to be there felt empty and incomplete. I wanted to feel complete. I wanted to feel whole. And I ended up getting exactly what I wanted in the journey of figuring out that it's not family that makes you feel that way. It's weird, right? You bump up against your expectations, you realize you're doing it wrong, you do better a little bit at a time, and then one day you realize what is really going on. Your completeness and your feeling of fulfillment, that's something that you can do right there, right now. It's something that you need to focus for yourself. It's not going to happen because other people do it for you. So whatever it is you're desiring, you've got to do it for you. You've got to know it's for you, you know? And it was for me. I did want to have a family. I did want to experience being good at being a dad, being good at being a parent, being good at being with my kids. And I am really good at it now. But it's because I focused on me. It's because I stopped saying I needed something to be full and to be whole. And I decided to say, I am whole and I am complete already. I am me. And that's all I need to be. In order to be free of all of my negativity, I just need to accept everything the way it is. So all of the things that you think are making you feel like crap all the time, unless it's like a really obvious thing, like I really don't like traffic. That makes me feel really frustrated every time I drive, especially since there are people who don't know how to drive a car. Okay. Like it's very easy. And it's very easy to say, that's why I'm unhappy. Yeah, but you don't need to be mad about traffic. You don't need to get angry about traffic every single time. And I never got to the point where I was like toxically talking about traffic constantly. But when it frustrates me, it's okay. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to feel sad. It's, that's really, kindergarten lessons all over again. That's all we really ever needed, is to understand that it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to let them out, talk about them and such. You're fine. You're fine feeling things. It's okay. Some of them are yucky, but they don't need to be sticky. They can fall right off of you as long as you're sensitive enough to why you're feeling them. And you know what? Oh boy, here it comes. The only way that you can become more sensitive to yourself is if you breathe. Is if you sit down, breathe, and really look inside. Just sit down, close those eyes, man, and ask yourself what's up. What's down? What's all around? What a cringy line, right? Ugh. You don't need to be doing anything specific, man. You don't need to be doing anything specific. All you've got to do is breathe. And there are those 3 kinds of meditations that really do the work. One is to just feel like you're part of the universe. You're made up of the same stuff as everything else around you, and there's a force that moves you and makes your heart pump. It's not just biology, because just biology is just like everything else. Biology in itself is a kind of magic, if you will. You know, it's inanimate material that shouldn't be moving. It's moving all by itself, right? It's alive. Aliveness is really cool. Feel that. Feel that you're alive. The other kind of meditation is one that's real specific. Real specific. It's all about healing, self-analyzing, therapy, that kind of stuff, right? So that healing therapeutic things, that is its own little version of meditation, because you're trying to figure yourself out. You are analyzing stuff that is not always easy to talk about, that you have no one to talk about it with. It's just between you and whatever's out there, whatever you believe, even if it's just yourself, you know? And there's all kinds of techniques to do that. Personifying feelings, uh, imagining them as different things, placing the feeling in a thing and then moving that away from yourself. If not, putting a feeling in a thing, asking for a feeling to be in a thing, and then taking it in, imbibing it, right? That's where the whole, like, you know, blood of Christ thing comes from, whatever. And then the third kind of meditation is one where you are intending, right? You're aiming your mind. You're trying to set your mind and set your subconscious and your conscious mind to go a certain direction. You're trying to aim for something. That's the manifestation stuff, the wish fulfillment stuff, the desire stuff. And that's literally just organizing the active parts of your mind to constantly look for the opportunities and the things that can work for you to get to a certain goal, right? The only thing you need in order to stop any of this, okay, is just don't believe. That's it. It's so easy to fall, man. It's so easy to fall down when it comes to this stuff. Just don't believe anything is working. Just bitch a little bit. And then you will completely and totally stop everything dead in its tracks. And I do it a lot. I do it tons, plenty, okay? Because that's life, man. That's life. There's plenty to frustrate us. There's plenty that looks like it's the opposite. But what we need to remind ourselves as often as we friggin' can is that we don't know the big picture. We don't know everything, and we can't see what is actually going on in the background. I'm not talking about like spirits and stuff like that. I'm talking about the whole world, okay? This is an insane thing, but like, if anyone's ever seen the movie Benjamin Button, there's that scene that discusses the fate of things, right? If one person had done one thing a little bit longer for a few more seconds, things will change completely. The butterfly effect of the normal freaking world. No spirituality, no hocus pocus, no religion or dogma, nothing esoteric or mystical about it. That's just how the world works. We are in a freaking clusterfuck of miracles. And that cluster of miracle working, of miraculous shit happening all the time, is based off of every little tiny detail, every little thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really hate bugs and you see one little tiny fly, your day's ruined, right? If you have arachnophobia, you see a spider, a great day can become a fucking nightmare. That's how it works. So every little thing working in tandem to create this experience that we're all having at the same time on this one little tiny ball, this little speck of blue that is out there on a tail end of a galactic spiral. That's our lives. That's everything that's ever freaking happened, everything that's ever going to happen for humanity. That's right there. And yet there's so much depth to it, you know? And the funny thing is, a lot of people think that breathing and meditating, you're like trying to simplify it. In a way you are, sure. But when you start to simplify it, you really literally just basically breathe in and internalize the idea that you are wanting to take in the whole experience as it is and not label anything and not really say, oh, I know exactly what this is, and just admit to yourself that you are naive to the whole thing. when you start to do that, you start to open up to see so much more of the ripples, man. So much more of the, I'm saying this metaphorically, but the ripples, the coincidences of life, and how they are happily synchronizing with every little thing that's happening out there. It's not so much that things are lining up for you, it's that you're finally seeing the patterns that will work for you. That's all that this whole manifestation stuff is. That's all that wishful thinking and the juice of internalizing and intentioning really is. The only thing that meditation is doing is letting you chill your brain out from constantly trying to label everything. And then one day you have dropped all the labels so much that you see exactly what is needed in order to get what you want. That's it. Man, okay, let me tell you this. This is good. I have a good story. This is a story I tell almost everybody because I love it so much. This just encapsulates everything I'm talking about right here, okay? One time I was going to the movie theater. I had some pre-screening, like some pre-show tickets, right? Some tickets to a movie that I had been just super eager to see called District 9, right? And District 9 is, oh, Neil Blomkamp, we fucking need you, man. You need to make some movies, bro. What the fuck? Stop signing up with people and just do your own shit. You're great, okay? But anyway, um back in the day, it was like 2010 or something like that, or 2009. I can't remember exactly when it came out, but man, this movie was the shit. It was so good. I knew it was going to be great because I had seen the short film that it was based off of years before, right? And he got the funding and he made a whole freaking movie. And I was like, oh my God, I got to see this. I took my best friend to see this movie. I had 2 tickets, right? We were fucking late. It's bad. And here's the thing. We knew this movie was going to be huge. We knew everybody and their mother was going to see this goddamn movie if they could. 2 weeks before it came out, this movie was going to be amazing. And everybody freaking knew it. So we were late getting to the theater, which was in like the Beltway of Houston. And I knew we were really late. Like the movie was going to start, dude. So we had trouble finding each other in the parking garage. And then we finally got out of, we finally found each other. We got out of the parking garage and we actually went to the actual movie theater. We got straight to the box office and there was a huge line. And I knew that line was for that movie. But I was ignorant to the idea that everything was ruined. I just didn't care. I just didn't believe it. I was like, no, I'm going to see this goddamn movie. This is a movie I'm going to see, okay? I'm going to see this movie. I know I'm going to see this movie. I've got friends who save seats for me. And the truth was, I had no idea if those guys were there. There were a couple of friends from my work who had given me the tickets who were like, yeah, we'll save seats for you. No way, man. There's no way that they can handle that. There's no way they can manage that. But you know what? I would rather believe that than believe I'm not going to see the movie. So I just stated what I believed the whole time. I cut through the entire line of the box office. I went to another line where they were selling regular tickets. I was like, yeah, I've got a couple of pre-screening tickets for District 9. I was just wondering where I have to go in order to get there. And the guy at the box office said, yeah, there's really no way, man. I mean, it's full up. It's crazy. It's full. This whole line over here, we're just telling them no constantly. That's all we're doing. I was like, all right, thanks. Thank you so much. My friend was like, look, man, I'm sorry, we're late. And I was like, no, let's keep going. Let's just keep going. There's no rule that says you can't enter a movie theater without tickets. It's just that the chauffeur is not going to have anything to rip up. So I went over to the chauffeur and there was another huge line inside of chauffeur just for District 9 and a chauffeur for all the other normal movies. I didn't want to be in the line. So I just went to the regular chauffeur or the usher. Sorry, the chauffeur. That's driving a car. So I went to the regular usher and the regular usher kind of gave me the same thing. I was like, hey, I've got these pre-screening tickets. My friends are in there. They're messaging me right now. That's kind of a lie. They weren't messaging me. But I believe that they were there saving me seats. I did believe that as naively as I could. And he said, yeah, that is a full theater. There are no more seats left. There's really nothing I can do for you. And I was like, yeah, my friends have told me that they've saved seats for me. Is it okay if I just go in and ask the manager to double check that that's happening? And they were like, I I mean, I guess I can't stop you. So we just kept going. And my friend was like, dude, what are you doing? We're gonna get in trouble. I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're nice guys. We're gonna be fine. It's okay. We kept going, right? And I asked him, like, so what theater is it? And he told me exactly which theater it was in. And we go all the way to that movie theater, right? We go to the theater number, and there is a woman like literally harassing a manager right there and then. It's like, I've got these tickets, blah, 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 blah. She's just making a whole scene, right? That manager's distracted, and there's another manager who stops me at the door because I'm about to go in. I'm about to just be like, hey there, just here to see the movie. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're full. There's no way you can get in. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. My friends have been messaging me that they're already in there and that they saved a couple seats for me. You know, I had these 2 tickets. If it's really impossible, I'll go, but just wanted to see the movie. You know, we got here. And my friend is trying to pull me off to the side, being like, dude, we need to go. We're going to get in trouble. I don't care. I do not care. There's a guy, a tall dude, manager. He's like, give me 1 second. Goes in, comes back out. We hear the movie playing already. The trailers, if there were any, are done. This movie's in. They're already starting. We missed like 5 minutes of it. This guy comes back out and says, all right, we had some seats saved for critics. They're not here, and I have no idea if they're going to be here. If they show up, you have to leave. But if they don't, you can stay in those. We walk into that theater, dude. They are the best 2 seats in the movie theater. I got to tell you, man, recounting that tale to this day feels like magic. So good. So good. Right? And all I did was not believe all this stuff that said I couldn't do it. That's it. I just didn't believe anybody saying I wasn't going to see the movie. That's it. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't break any rules. I just asked. And every time I asked if I could just ask the next person. I asked if I could just ask the next person. And each person said, you can try. You can try. If somebody had said, no, don't do that, if they had really resisted against it, I would have probably given up. It's the truth. But I was just a nice guy. I just had one other dude with me. I was just doing what I wanted to do. I wasn't hurting anyone. I wasn't mad about it. Okay? My demeanor helped a lot in that situation. But the reason that my demeanor helped in that situation is because I didn't have anything in me that said this was going to make me or break me. I wasn't dying to see the movie. I was just happy and excited to see it. I was expecting that I could ask at least. That's it. That's all I was doing. That's all I was doing differently. And a lot of the things that bog us down in life are like that. It's just a little bit of faith that you need. It's just a little bit of faith, not in God. And I didn't say that God sent me to the movie theater. I didn't feel Jesus or angels guiding me there. Okay. I just believed that I could go and watch the movie with one friend. And we ended up getting the best seats in the whole friggin' theater. And man, that movie's still dope. That movie is still fantastic. My God. Neil, please, for the love of God, make another fucking movie. But yeah, that is one of the best stories that I've ever experienced. And I was like, God, I was like 20. I was such a little kid, you know? Now I'm only 13 years older. And you know what? I feel like in 10 years, I'm going to look at myself being like, man, I was a little kid. Because we're all little kids. We're all just flowers, man. We're all just a flower. That's it. He said the title. It is so much easier than you think it is. It is so much easier than you think it is. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's as easy as you do think it is. Whatever you think is possible, cool, man. Keep it up. You know, if you think something is impossible, all right, so be it, you know? But if you think something is impossible and you want it to now all of a sudden be very possible, a lot of it, like 50% of the work, is just in your head. It's just in your head, man. And if you can breathe and become sensitive to the nature of how you think, of how you are being, then your nature can change. And that's the crux of a lot of the issues we have right now. It's just the way we see things. And we're never right because we're always making it up for ourselves. We're always making up all of the ideas that we have in our own mind. We're always making up all of the ideas that we have in our own experience. So why don't we make something pleasant? Why don't we make something beautiful? Why don't we organize our brains in a way where we can actually take advantage of every moment rather than waste away in our fears, in our desperation, in our neediness? You're actually very resourceful. If you're here watching this right now, you're super resourceful. That means that you have the internet. It means that you have eyes or ears to listen or see with. It means that you have what you need in order to get to this point, right? And you can call it fate, you can call it destiny, you can call it a synchronicity, you can call it a coincidence, you can call it whatever the hell you want to call it. What is what is, man. This is happening, this is happening. Don't overcomplicate this shit. Simplify it, if anything. Simplify it. Some dude said this and it reminded me of that. That's it. That's all it is. That's all it needs to be. You know, if I were complicating this thing, I'd be like, oh, this is the beginning of my incredible uprising and becoming a super crazy podcaster. No, man, I'm just trying to do a nice podcast to remind people to breathe. That's all I'm trying to do. That's all this is. I'm just doing something that feels good. I'm doing something that feels nice. It's a nice little reminder for my friends, everybody out there in the world. And it's a little bit more than nothing. You know? You don't need to be crazy. You don't need to be crazy cool. You know? Nobody does anything with this like, wow, this. Some people have huge dreams. Yes, some people have huge ambitions. I definitely do. But it's never going to become huge unless I start small. I'm not going to get to the movie theater and the best seats in there until I ask the little questions that get me there. That's it. It's 53 minutes in. I am probably going to post a meditation. I'll probably post that before this, actually, because I want this to, I don't know, I feel like posting these on Sundays is nice. But hey, you guys tell me. If you guys want these, like, whenever I record them, just let me know. I want to let everybody know I got my 2 books out. Boom. 114 Quixotic Visions, a poetry adventure about my entire life from the moment that I was coined Quixotic until now. Until like a year ago, actually, because things are even better. There's quite a thick amount of despair in here. But I surrendered to that despair, and then something happens. And then you've got Gray. And this right here is a little bit more esoteric, a little bit more mystical. It has to do with walking into that ineffable stuff and taking it in very first time as we're leaving the negativity, as we're leaving all of the pessimism, cynicism kind of stuff. And it's okay to be, I do not mind a cynical person. I love cynicism. It makes me giggle. Okay. I think it's funny to be cynical all the time. It's hilarious. But let me go ahead and read one to you from the Gray, since it's the more recent one. This is a good one. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, this is a good one. All right. This one's on page 72. And my favorite thing about the Gray is that the whole thing is gray. So I love that you can actually do this. You can actually print it this way. I think it feels really good. But if anyone has any comments, pick one up, read a review. This one's only $10. And the big one is a lot thicker, right? The big one's about $16 on Amazon. You can get it on Kindle Unlimited as well and read through the whole thing in about an hour. It's not the big one, the little one. The big one that takes a couple days. But without further ado, let's read this poem I wrote. The Right Wrong Song. Everyone you know, and everywhere you go, the song is playing in their heads. Right in step, tag along, keep on faking that blessed praising. Wrong song, just as loud, but bent and swung too hard for some. Then someone sings a different beat, a verse that almost always repeats but never sounds complete. It's enchanting and relaxing, but it's also twice demanding from a thing inside that likes to rhyme. Time to start that love enacting. The odd, unheard of chords, mysterious as beautiful their chorus, too strange for those who write, and wrong alike, they find a way to strike down all the town by hitting the center of that sound. Right and wrong seem pretty strong. Too bad it isn't real for them, the ones who know, and yes, rehearsed alone amongst, repress entirely the notion that some things are more easily addressed. Between a yes and a no, not even a maybe, sure, black and white does not ignite. The gray is where we stay. Gray, Velez. Really love the cover. This one I did myself. This cover illustration is from a dear friend of mine from college named David Luna, who took the time to draw this amazing illustration, which has little Easter eggs of all the titles of the poems that I've written in there. Here's like the full version, if you will. Super nice, right? I love the cover art for it. It really made me feel like the whole thing was complete when it was done. And I'll read one from here too, just to kind of close it out. Let's see. This is a good one. Something happens. It happens throughout time, from the center to the edge, from every bump and every direction. Something happens everywhere, and where could be to everything that things could seem. No, you won't see it. No, it won't happen. Yet by the measure of existence, it is certainly imagined. As with glass, dirt speckled, slanted, or riddled with cracks, so the universe within a meat sack's hacking of reality is a messy, juicy snack. Of happened, or getting there, or waking, stretching, ecstatic clear, and misty stares. Something always buffing into that or other funky nothing. Brightest day and darkest nights, something happens out of sight, but if a space is left untouched by the observation of enough, the universe replies with nuances denied. What measures this plain something? What gives the thing its weight? How is it that we get to it? Or is this a mistake? Find a way to settle in this question's more him, to let us know we do not know, and let the seeing in. To close the eyes and breathe in deep, to let the intuition steep, allow the cosmos to mystify all the things measured by the eyes. The dream will ring and resonate from the fabric that the mind creates. You'll dance or cross or cry, maybe break. It's all the mind's to make and shape. This idea of what you have here now, it's as real as the mind makes it sound. Should a beeping rest or a ringing start, it's either real or the mind's cruel shards. It's going to keep going, even when it's slowing of a slowing, without reason, without purpose. So let the heart tap into your mind, or maybe move your eyes inside. Feel that beating and its rhythm. It's a rhyme with cosmic ignition. That one's near the end, okay? All the stuff in the beginning's really more practical. And each phase of my life has brought me a little bit more to that something. That's something that I believe in that I don't know what it is. Been a few weeks, and I don't know if I'm going to be keeping up or if I'm going to be doing this every week or not. I think I'm going to be more on task this next month, but we'll see. Hope you guys are comfy where you are. I'm comfy here, and I'll see you next time.